What's good? What's good? Satish Kumar, you're asking how high can XRP go? Um, it can go to 13. I see max $14 this cycle. I don't think it goes higher than 13, $14, but we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. This is what I see on XRP on the 4-hour time frame. And nothing much has changed. We've actually did exactly what we said was likely to happen in the last live, where we have this sideways accumulation range, and then we would reach for this supply. We would reach for this supply right here. Let me see here. Let me make this a black chart. Okay, yeah. So we would reach for these highs, but I actually think it goes a little bit higher here. Like, I'm thinking it goes to around 218 to 220. And let's say this was a fake out, right? This would just be an A, a B, and then you have your C wave. So you have your accumulation within this part of this rectangular range, and then you just have your distribution up. Or if it gets above 218 to 220 on the 4-hour time frame, then it's likely going to take out these highs at 224. And this is exactly, like, if it does end up taking out these highs, then this is exactly what I was saying in the last live. Like, you have a rising wedge, but every time you have a 5-wave move, so many market participants short, they go slightly in profit, but then the price does this and comes back to the highs. So all of these people are sweating bullets. All of these people who are putting their stop loss over here, they get taken out as well. So what if this was a wave one? We can make it more simple, right? Wave one. And in order to confirm that this is a wave two and that we're not going to have just a fake out like this, we need to get above 220 and 218, right? So we can say for sure that this is your wave two. And if you end up, and let's say this is a fake out and we actually end up taking out these lows right here, then we'd go for these supports. Very simple. We would just come back to revisit the 200-day moving average, sitting at around $1.94 with the possibility of a wick below the 200. Like, you can even see here on the high time frame how we wicked below the 200, and we had one daily close below it, and this huge wick, and then we got bought back up. So if by chance we come down to meet that 200-day, don't panic, because it's likely to be bought back up from there. But that would also imply that Bitcoin comes down as well. And Bitcoin is looking pretty strong right now. So let's just check out Bitcoin. Yeah, for sure. We'll check out Filecoin. Let me see here. So, good morning. How are you all doing? Glad to have you guys here in the chat. We're going to take a look at all of your requests. And yeah, I want to take a look at Filecoin. But before we take a look at Filecoin, I want to take a look at Bitcoin. And then we're going to come back to XRP. And then we're going to take a look. All right, let's take a look at BTC. You know, BTC is looking okay. We'll go on this white chart here. Let me see. And on the daily time frame. Remember, I was saying in the last live, in my previous videos on the Telegram, I was saying if we get above this trend line over here and then get daily closure above this 200-day, then it's very likely that that's the breakout. If we get a daily close above this 200 days sitting at 88,218. And what I usually say, or what I've pointed out in my videos, is that when you see three floors of price action, so this is your first floor, your second floor, and then you have your third floor. And then you see a pop above trendline resistance, right? Or a change of character, a partial decline, and then continuation. Then it's likely this was accumulation. But in order to confirm that this is the bottom over here, I want to see a daily close above this 200-day. Now, a bear could argue that there's still liquidity below 75,432 because we have this equal low sell side liquidity. So a bear could argue that where we come down to take these out, or this was a B, and then we come down for a C wave, and that this B wave, it would just take us to this 702 region right here. We're actually right around it, but I don't think that happens. It could happen where this is an A, a B, and then you come down for a C, and then we pop off from there. But let's track the momentum for now. We just want to see how this acts here on the daily time frame, because let's not forget the DXY. The DXY is bearish. You see how it's below our momentum indicator on the daily? We've actually called every single move on the DXY to a T. I said back over here in 2024, I said we were going to go right up here above these range highs, because this is what's called Wyckoff redistribution, right? Where you have a redistribution mid-trend. So you have your first leg to the downside, and then you have a pause in market structure, or in other words, an ABC, and then you have continuation of the trend. Now we can be very simple with determining where DXY is going to bottom out at. First and foremost, put the moving averages on your chart. We'll look at the 9-day, 21, and 50. So let's just see how that looks. 9, 21, and okay, 9, 21, and 50. And so far, we're below all of these moving averages. Okay, so once you see it going back above the 9 period, and then even coming back up to above the 21 period, that's how you know the DXY is definitely bottomed, right? More specifically, where I think the DXY is going to bottom out at is this 786. I think it goes below the 702, maybe in between the 786 and the 702, like around 95. But I do think it comes down to 94. We've had this target for quite some time now. Yeah, so 94 and 95. And then we can actually use a trend-based fib to this just to see where the next leg would take us. And let's see where the 1-to-1 extension is. Yeah, so the 1-to-1 extension is actually right there at the 702. So I don't know, let's see. But I do think the DXY goes lower. I do have a full wave count. I think I posted it in the Telegram or the Discord. I'll post it again tonight so you guys can check that out. But we're going to take a look at the stock market because I want to see how it opens. Because we are turning down here, right? We're turning down here. But something that's very noteworthy is that if you look on the weekly time frame, I was pointing this out in 2 of my previous streams, we have a piercing line reversal pattern on the weekly where you have this suicide candle right here, a wick below it, and then you shoot up more than 15 more than 50% of the previous day's candle. This was a 13% candle right here. You see how sudden this was? So let's just see, are we seeing chop here before expansion, or do we turn back down below? This is where you turn bearish on the S&P. If we go below this level right here, if we have a daily close below 5,073, then it would invalidate this piercing line reversal candlestick. Now, when we take a look at the S&P wave count, let's just take a look here. I was showing this in the previous stream, but I ended the stream because I had to go. But now you guys can see it a little bit better here. Okay, so what if this was just a wave 4 before we have one more push, and then it's done? And this would be around August, September. So there's a possibility of that. But first, we would need to clear some levels first. We would need to see some momentum starting to pick up, because right now it's just consolidating here after it came down to the 50. So let's just see. Let's go back to XRP, and then we'll take a look at Filecoin, and we'll take a look at all of your other coins that you guys have. But look at XRP, guys. Look how beautiful that structure looks. We take out the lows of this range, and on the weekly time frame, we have absolutely no closure below $1.90. Look at that. It's actually like exactly like the S&P in a way, where you have this suicide candle. When you're in the thick of it, it's a suicide candle. But then if you just wait for the weekly to play out, it comes back into the range and then closes 50%, over 50% above the previous week. And then remember what I was saying 2 streams ago. If this weekly is a doji, then it's likely we're going to see continuation this week to at least take out this trendline liquidity right here. And let's not forget that on XRP, we didn't go below the 200-day. Like, look how, like, you see that? It never went below the 200-day moving average. More so, we're still on the 2021 highs. So, boom. Like, if you really look at it, XRP is probably going to cheese a lot of people off, but XRP has been outperforming the market, like most of the market, and it's the fact that it's still up like this above the 2021 highs shows how much underlying strength this asset has. So let's go ahead and take a look at the rest of your coins here. And yeah, all right, let's take a look at Filecoin here. So yeah, this is Filecoin, and Filecoin is up about 1% on the week, I think. But yeah, it's up. We call the bottom on Filecoin. If this is truly a ending diagonal on Filecoin within the 5th wave of our B wave, then yeah, this is the bottom. But remember, we need to see total 3 play nice. If total 3, like look at total 3 right here, right? You can see that we're within this compression pattern. So if we can just get a move back up to these highs here at 840.37 billion, if we can just do that, then we're golden, because then we know that there's demand here, and we're pushing up from these highs, and we're getting away from this 702. Look how we came down to the March highs here on April 9th. So April 7th, actually, we had this wick down here, and that was just at the March highs. So we could still say that this is a wave 4 of our macro wave 5 to the upside. Now look at this. this is where you guys should be de-risking heavily on your altcoins. If you take a fib from the 2021 high down to this January low, take a look on the linear scale, the 1.702 and 1.786. So you get 1.7 to 1.8 trillion. You can even take a look at the 1.618. It's at 1.64. And then you can also take a fib from, let me see here, from this high back in December, January, down to this low that was set about 10 days ago. And look where the 1.786 is, right over here, right? Then you take a trend-based fib, you can see the 1-to-1 extension for your fifth wave is 1.65. So we have a lot of confluence within this area. I still think this area gets met before we come tumbling down, because this looks like a blow off top. Let's take a look at it on the linear. Like a move up here, have we taken out? We haven't really even taken out the 2021 highs on total 3. Like, you know what that would mean? That would mean that there's liquidity above it. So this is our equal high buy side liquidity. You see how you have equal highs here, and it's kind of like a head and shoulders, a cup and handle structure when you look at it on the linear chart. You see what I mean? You have your cup, then you have your handle, and the handle comes down to the 702 and to the March highs, and then we have finally this push and last wave of euphoria. That's what I'm thinking, if the 702 can hold and if Bitcoin can play nice. Let's go ahead and did we dive into Filecoin yet? Or did we go off in a tangent? I don't know. Let's just check this out. But yeah, like even if you take a look at Filecoin, like look at Filecoin on the linear scale, you can see that this was an established range that we've had for 806 days. And then you finally break below this established range. This is where all of the smart money accumulates, and this is where all of the retail accumulate. I mean, it was great. It was great for retail at times, but you can see that with every single push we got there, it's like there was almost a concerted effort to keep the price down, right? Boom, boom, boom. Like, and you just came up to this supply zone. That's it. They were literally, whenever you form a range like this, be mindful of what the price is tends to do at a certain zone, right? You can see that every single time we come up to this supply zone, it gets knocked down, and then like from a retail perspective, you would say, oh, okay, it's holding this support, so I'm just gonna buy. Like, we know that every time it comes down here, it's a bottom. But no, they're gonna push the price down below psychological support, and then that's when they buy. And then all the people in here, or all the retail in here, sell over here. They sell their bags to the composite operator. So as long as this support can hold back from 2018, then we should be seeing a move back up to this supply zone. We'll probably get a little bit of a knockdown, and then we'll get that attempt towards our technical target of $17. The reason I say 17 is because when we take a fib from the previous high down to this low, you can see that the 2.618 is right there at 18. And then if we take a fib from this drop-off point, which was huge back in March, down to the trough, or what we think is the trough, down to the and then we see, look where the 1.702 is. So I think we see expansion towards that level. but we would need to see the rest of the market pick up. We would need to get back above this level right here at 344. Once you get above 344, then you know for sure that this is a fake out. But yeah, that's Filecoin. And then we'll also take a look at Dent. Let's see here. Like, this is the most clear head and shoulders fake out I've ever seen. Honest to God. Boom. Then you find support off the 200. And now we're above our daily momentum indicator. You see how we're above this daily momentum indicator here on XRP? Like, if these lows can hold, that would be great. But I feel like, I don't know, I feel like there's a lot of stops here. So you may see something like that, like as a wick, and then pop back up. I don't know, I just have a little feeling, but it looks bullish. It looks bullish, no doubt. We need to keep watching Total 3. Let's see what's Total 3 and let's see what Total 3 and BTC are doing. So SAD is saying supply is hugely diluted when it comes to fill. Yeah, I would agree, bro. I would agree. That's why, but like that doesn't discount the fact that it has it's a good ROI play. Like you could just, that's what I'm saying. I'm gonna be fully out of my fill at around like 16, 17, 18, and then I'm out. Because I think it's like the DXY, where you have Wyckoff redistribution, where it's like this is your distribution, and then you would capitalize on the C wave. So you'd buy here and then capitalize off the C wave before it has trend continuation down. See what I'm saying? I see a lot of coins like that, actually. A lot of coins, they won't stick around. But like I still see a good run on those coins. No doubt. No doubt. How high will gold go? Marcel is asking. Yeah, we'll take a look at gold for sure. GQ Patrol is saying, because XRP is the chosen one. I'm dead. I mean, we've had to suffer for so many years in that accumulation range while all the alts went ballistic, right? So it's crazy how the tides have turned. Yeah, so, okay. Yeah, let's take a look at Dent, and then we're going to take a look at gold here. So now I'm a huge fan of Dent. I really like Dent. Let me put this on the black chart. Or is this, did I make this on the white chart? I'm not sure. Let's see. Oh yeah, I did make it on the white chart. Okay, so now look at this structure here on Dent. All right. This is exactly CRV before it popped off. And it's not only Dent that's looking like this. Like there are so many alts that are printing this setup. But it's like they're moving a little bit slower. Like remember I was saying in the last stream, you can really see where the market is going to go when you just take a look at a few coins that are front running or that are popping off and you have bullish order flow. Like when we take a look at CRV here, or let me see here, CRV, boom. Now look at this, okay? We'll go on a cleaner chart on Dent so you guys can see everything. Okay, so with CRV, see you take out these lows. CRV is in the bottom pane. Take out these lows and you take out these lows here, right? And then you can even extend this. And then you have your deviation, which is this guy right here. And then you have your deviation on CRV, which is this guy right here. And then CRV comes up, comes into this high time frame supply. And then you also have a change of character where you wick above these highs, and then you come down to fill your inefficiency, and then you have continuation. And right now you can see that Dent is a little bit behind. So if Dent can just come up here, right, or even just come up here and then do something like that, it may not be one-to-one exactly, but it's just, you can kind of see it's front running. Now let's take a look at some targets for Dent. Now remember, Dent and all of these coins within this live are very risky. If you're not experienced, if you can't stand the heat, then yeah, don't invest. But yeah, this is Dent. These are the targets right here. All I did was I took a fib from the last all-time high here in 2021 down to this low in 2023. Look where the 618 and the 702 is. Then what you can do is place a volume footprint indicator from the all-time high down to the trough just before we go into accumulation. And you can see that let me just go into the settings here. You can see that the value area high is right there. And then same thing we did for Filecoin. We just took a fib from this high down to this low, and from this high down to this low. And we see that the 2.618 is right there. And then we can also use a trend-based fib. So when you want to measure the third wave or the C wave in trading, I would recommend the trend-based fib over the regular fib. You can use the regular fib in conjunction, but the trend-based fib is the most powerful. In crypto, you'd want to be taking a look at values such as the 1.618, 1.702, and 1.786. And when we measure this C wave, look where the 1.702 is, right at our level, and also at the 4.236 extension when we take a fib from the December highs down to our spring. So yeah, that's Dent. Let's go back to XRP here and let's just see what it's doing. Man, XRP looks pretty bullish. It's just, if it holds above this daily momentum indicator, that would be so good. Let's see. We have this high time frame supply we wicked into after having a change of character. And is this decline sufficient enough to say we're going to get continuation? We'll have to see. More importantly, we need to just take a quick look at BTC here. And yeah, it's moving along pretty nice. Remember, we need to see a daily close above the 200-day right here. Let's take a look at Russell 2000 futures right now. Let's see what it's doing pre-market. And same thing as the S&P, it's just consolidating here. Something I've noticed on the Russell 2000, I pointed this out in my previous video. It has come down to the 786 and it's above it. So remember what I said, the 786 and the 886 is our line in the sand for the Russell. So what I'm thinking is I would say it's less likely this just rips up and takes this high. I would say that's the least likely scenario in my mind, at least. Like, it really does look like a double top. But what I do see from this region, as long as this 786 can hold at 1789, then I see a relief rally by about 50% at least. Sorry, up to the 50% fib, which would be right here. Now, if this was a dead cat bounce, right? The definition of a dead cat bounce is we come up to at least the 50% or just below it. So I would be targeting around 2093, but as soon as we get back above the 200-day or even come back up to the 200-day, then we got something maybe a little bit more complex on our hands. More importantly, we had this huge ass dump on the Russell 2000, but alts didn't really take a hit. Like, we went down 31% on the Russell. But if you notice, total 3, it just, it came down a bit, but you can see it was inching. It was just inching towards it. And now we have those 3 lows that I was telling you guys about, where every time you sweep the low, we get bought back up. Right? And then this was your third floor of price action coming down to the 702, which is right here at 679 billion. Now all I want to see on total 3 is just a move back up to this supply zone. If we can just get a move back up here, then we can say, oh, okay, yeah. Like, it looks like there's demand picking up here, because you'd be retesting these highs, right? So yeah, I still expect 1.7 to 1.8 trillion bucks to get hit on total 3. Very safe target would be around 1.64 trillion. So when total 3 gets up to this level, you really want to think about scaling out your positions. But yeah, we're gonna take a look at AVAX, and we're gonna take a look at VET, INJ, and let me see here, Gala. I really like Gala. So Addo is asking, what are your thoughts on PLS, PulseX? We're going to take a look at PulseX right now. Let me see here. I really like PulseX. I think the ecosystem is bottomed, actually. Now, what looks really bullish the last time I saw the chart is incentive token. That looks super bullish. But now, I think we called the bottom on PulseX, because now it's right below the POC. You see, I said when we were at the bottom here on PulseX, I said that we were going to oscillate back and forth here, and then we would finally see a push up to this point of control. But right now we're under the point of control here. So yeah, there is always a possibility we come down like this, or we come back into the range and continue to consolidate. However, I would say that this is sufficient enough. Like, just seeing a push back up to this POC, if we can get the rest of the market moving, like total 3 and Bitcoin, then I think we can get above the POC. This is the point of control. This is sitting at 402787. Now, if for those of you that don't know, POC, it just means where 70% or more of the volume is located. And 70% or more of the volume is located right over here within this 569-day long range. And in the Elliott wave theory, they say that the E wave can't really go below the C wave. sorry, AB. Yeah, it can't go below the C wave. But in highly manipulated and over leveraged markets driven by hype and FOMO, you tend to get these deviations of patterns. It's a classic retail fake out that happens all the time, where this E wave goes below the C wave and you actually have deviation below this psychological diagonal support. And what did we see here on PulseX? What did we see here? This was your psychological support, diagonal psychological support. And then we start trading below it. Now we're back above it. Remember I said in the last stream, as soon as you get above this this diagonal support here, which we have, then we could say that yeah, this was more likely than not a fake out, a retail pattern trap. As soon as you get above the POC, that will be confirmation of the bottom. And then we'd be looking for a move up to these resistance levels. You see these resistance levels? This is the main resistance level I'm looking at. 4047 and 405129. Get above that, then we're looking at this 4.236 extension right here at 405621, which would be around a 25, let me see here, about a 19x from current prices. In the last video it was about a 27x when we did this analysis in the last video, or sorry, the 2 videos ago. But yeah, that's PulseX. Let's take a look at another coin that you wanted me to see. Let me just pop up the chat here. Yeah, Ado is saying Wyckoff accumulation spring. Exactly. Okay, Ricky is asking, Bitcoin is looking strong. Yeah, Bitcoin is looking strong. You know, like we're finally above that trend line. Now we just need to see a move above the 200 day. Let's take a look here. BTC. Like that's pretty good. But yeah, this is the full wave count since 2022. And I don't think, like, this looks like a third wave. This looks like a fourth. And then we come up for a fifth to above 106,000. Or even if this was a fifth wave, right? In December, then this move would be an A wave. And then if we get above the 200 day, then we still need to have a B wave. And in crypto, especially knowing how Bitcoin acts, the B waves like to go above the highs. Like look back here in 2021, the B wave went above the high. So even if this was a wave 5, I would think that the B wave goes above to around 120, 130,000 and then comes down. But we have to see as the price develops. Remember, the first thing we need to see before we get ahead of ourselves and look at the targets, just want to see a move above this 200 day. And we're pretty close to it. It's like sitting at 88,222, 86,970, and we're at 86,970. Remember I was saying in the previous live how much liquidity we had above these highs over here? Do you guys remember that? In like 3 lives we were saying, we were looking at the Bitcoin liquidity heat map. And it took it out, guys. Took out the liquidity. You can see it's, yeah, so now, yeah, so you see this liquidity here? This is the liquidity we were tracking for about 3-4 days, for about a week. And it's now above it, and now it's just coming down a bit. So let's see. We have liquidity below this range at 83K. Will we come down for a flush like this and take that out and then pop off from there? Because this could be a flat pattern. We have a flush and then continuation, or we maintain posture above 86, 148, and then we have continuation higher, which would be it would be a really crazy move for sure. So let's see how it plays out. So Ricky is saying flush then bounce. Yeah, probably. We'll see. Let's see. Like today is going to be this week is going to be very important in regards to price action, especially for the S&P, especially for the stock market. You know, the DXY went lower. DXY is still going lower here. So let's see here. Okay. We can see like on the 10-minute time frame for the DXY. Like look at this break of structure. This was your A, B, C, and then boom. So remember what I said for the DXY, guys. Put the 9, 21, and 50-day moving average on your chart. If you get above the 9-day and then get closures above the 9-day and then start to pierce the 21-day, that's how you know that the DXY is bottomed. So we can do this again. I'll just show you guys. When you put the SMA on your chart, make sure to go into the settings and make sure it's daily. Like the time frame, make sure it's daily. So you know it's not just giving you the wrong data, you know? So yeah, this is the 9-day right here at 100. So as long as we're below those, you can also take a look at the EMAs. It's more for like tracking short-term trend here. This is actually a little bit better. So you see how we're finding some resistance here? I'm still targeting 94 on the DXY. But I think they're gonna start printing. And when they start printing, that's when we're gonna have the craziest alt season. That's what I'm thinking. And Bitcoin dominance tanks right to hell. Let's take a look at BTC dominance. And yeah, I still think it comes to 66%. And the reason I say 66% is simply because that's the 786 when we take a fib from the 2021 highs down to the 2022 lows. Very simple. You can see that on the linears or the logarithmic scale, we already hit the 786, but we didn't hit it on the linear. Originally, we were saying that this was the top, right? But if you get above these interim resistance levels, then it's likely we would be hitting the 786 on the linear scale, and that's at 66. So let's see how the price reacts at 66. Okay? Thank you so much, Kryptonite. Appreciate that. What's up, Anna? Good to have you here. Yeah, let's take a look. So Kryptonite is saying, greetings from Malaysia. We love your live. Thank you so much. All right. Okay, yeah, so Ado, I looked at Bitcoin dominance for you. We're going to take a look at ETH. I think ETH is very important to watch right now. And exactly like Total 3, it's on the 702. Like, look at ETH right here. Do you guys see how we came down to extremes like this? Like, just taking a look at this on the linear scale. Like, how much lower can this go, for God's sakes? Like, This came down. Look at this structural support, how well we've used it in the past. This was this, we actually did a, remember what I was showing you guys on BTC, right? Remember I said that when you have your 3 floors of price action, it's likely accumulation before we head into expansion, right? And it's kind of like a triple bottom, but you make consecutive lower lows, but just by a little bit. So you have your first floor, second floor, and then you have your third floor. And if we take a look at ETH here, we can see that it did the exact same thing in August to October 2023 before blasting to high heavens. Like, look at this. First floor, second floor, third floor, move up, still a disbelief. People are still in disbelief. And then when it does this and takes out the highs and then back tests it like that, like right here, and then it's just off, it's gone. And like you won't see ETH come back here. But in hindsight, we did. We came back to these levels. But what I'm trying to show you is the bottoming structure. Look how ETH bottomed here in 2023. You have these triple lows here. Are we seeing the same thing possibly play out now? Or is this more of just a V-shaped recovery? Let's see, we really want to be taking a look at Bitcoin here. Bitcoin is doing exactly what ETH did back in August to October 2023. So if Bitcoin can recover, get above the 200-day moving average, like I was saying, then it's likely we would be seeing ETH come back up to retest these highs at 1787. When ETH gets back above 1787, then you know that we have something cooking. Because look at this weekly candle right here. Now, I would recommend for everyone to go on Google when they have time and look at and study the candlestick cheat sheet chart. Type in candlestick cheat sheet and just study the bearish and bullish candles. And you can see that this is a long-legged doji here, and they tend to mark reversals when they form on critical support. And we have come down to critical support. We came down to this structural support here, and we also came down to the 786. Remember, I was saying the 786 is considered an extreme, and we actually had no weekly closure below the 786. So what I want to see here on ETH is a move back up to 786, and then see us reclaim the 200. If we reclaim the 200-day moving average, do you guys know the amount of FOMO that will kick in that will just send ETH like straight up and take out these triple highs? Remember, these are triple highs. So we have a ton of liquidity above these highs. Think about how many people bought here. Even I know whales who put so much money at these in ETH at these highs because they thought that this move here in December was going to be a follow through. No one really expected a triple top, but now that we have it, we could say that yeah, there's a lot of liquidity here. This is our equal high buy side liquidity. It's likely going to be taken out, and we haven't taken out this external range liquidity here sitting at 4,800. So yeah, if this could be the bottom, right here. I just want to see a move above this level. So yeah. So Daniel is saying, sup, thanks for streaming during these sketchy times. Yeah, for sure, man. No problem. We'll take a look at all these coins. Ricky gifted a Pip Snipers membership to someone. I appreciate that. That's great. All right. So let me see here. What coin should we do next? Dave. All right, synthetics. Yeah, we'll take a look at synthetics. Sure. All right, let's take a look at synthetics. Now, I was taking a look. One of my members in the Discord, he was asking me to do Tao, TAO. Saw something very nice on TAO. How's the stock market? So the stock market opens. Let me see. I don't know. It should open in 30 minutes, right? Today's okay. Okay, yeah, let's take a look at Tao here. I wanted to show you guys this setup. I really like this setup because look how we come down to these lows. And this is your structural support. And you see how we do the exact same thing as the S&P where you have this suicide candle. And this is a suicide candle because in the thick of it, you would be going below these lows that were set in 2024, almost a year ago. And you not only go below it on the weekly, but you actually close below it. But then the following week, we have a bullish engulfing. The week after that, we have another push up. And last week, we had a push up off the 9, 21, and 50-day moving average. So right now, what we may see here is a little bit of a decline, maybe 23.6 to 38.2% of the way down when we take a fib from this low up to this high. And then it's likely we're going to see continuation up to here, up to this mitigation block right up here. And you can see how many times we've actually used this as supply back then. Once, twice, 3, 4, 5, 6, so many times. But I think we're going to break above it. I think we're actually going to break above it here and then reach for these highs. I think I made a chart here. Let me just try to find it. I don't know if I made it on this or sorry, Tau. Did I make it on this chart? I don't know. Not sure where I made it, but this actually is your change of character right here. You have your break of structure, so you break this low, and then you take out this high, and you make another high. So this would be your change of character. Now, usually now your draw on liquidity after establishing that this was a change of character would be right here. Let me see here. Do we have any inefficiency on the 4 hour? Yeah, like right there. See this 4 hour inefficiency? This was your draw on liquidity. So there is a possibility that because we had this change of character and because we wicked into this inefficiency, we come down a little, back down into this range. This is where you can scoop up entries for the anticipation of a higher high. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, this setup looks really nice, and it actually reminds me a lot like Sui. It reminds me of Sui. Like, look at this. Like, even though Sui didn't come down back to its low in 2023, it just came down to the 786. You can see that it's very similar. Like, even just this recovery, it's very similar. Like, look at this recovery like that. And then you kind of had it here on Sui, right? But you just came down partially after your change of character. So remember what I was saying. When you have a change of character here, you come down partially back into the range before continuation. So what if that's what we're seeing on Tau? Because we just had this change of character. And what if it comes back into the range before having continuation up? Now remember, conservative target is about like 3x, I think. If we take a fib from this high down to this low, conservative target is 3x, but I'm sure it can go a lot higher if it's like Sui. So yeah. So Mad Hodler. Oh, Ricky is saying bank holiday. So is the stock market not open? Like, is it still closed today? That's crazy. Let me see here. SPX? Oh no, it's open. Yeah, it's open. Okay, looking here at the S&P. It's turning down. But remember what I said. We're okay as long as we don't go below this close, which we had on the week of March 31st, right? Because then that would be invalidating this piercing line reversal candlestick, right? So let's see. You know, you could also argue that there's a decoupling from the crypto and stock market. I just find it so crazy how alts never took that big of a hit. And even coming back to this wave count here, right? Like, what if this was just a wave 4? That's something that, like, it's still on my mind. But yeah, I don't want to see a move below 50.87, below the close of March 31st. Otherwise that would be bearish, and then we would actually be fulfilling this death cross that we have. You see this death cross? We have the same death cross on BTC, where the 50 goes below the 200. But I actually think that it's a little bit of a false signal, like it's a retail signal. I think price actually rallies into the death cross rather than us confirming it right away or in the following days after you get it. USTD, so YC is asking for USTD DOM. All right. I really like Hello Pip DBC, please. Yeah, we'll take a look at DBC, DGB, Mantra, and SNX. So Kryptonite is saying SNX is famous here in Malaysia. That's sick. You know, everyone here in Asia, they know about crypto. Like even the old people, everyone knows about crypto here. Like, it's really gaining traction in Asia. Okay, let's take a look at USDT dominance. I think that's very important to watch right now. But we also need to be watching the stock market because it just gapped lower on open. So let's see here. Will crypto follow? That's the main question. Okay. USDT DOM. Now, I'll tell you why USDT DOM is very important to watch, because this will give us the blueprint to where the market is going to go in the short term and in the medium term. And as you guys can see, we are below our momentum indicator. Let me just find our momentum indicator here. Guys, check this out on the daily. We're below this momentum indicator here. And then if you take a look on the 4-hour time frame, we have a break of structure. You see how we break structure here on April 12th? April 12th, we had this low that took us into a 4.4% retracement for about 4 days. And now we're breaking below that low. So did we just confirm a change of character or a break or market structure shift on USDT DOM, which would mean that crypto is bottomed? But also something that I wanted to point out on USDT dominance is that when we take a fib from this high on August 5th down to this low, you can see that we haven't had any weekly closure above the 786. We've actually had a bearish candle off of it because you had such a strong high over here. You can see the high on March 10th was up here, and then we filled the wick on the week of March 31st. And then we ended up closing right at the highs. So we can already say that this level was our strong high, or a level where a lot of liquidity was resting. And then you wick up and take out all of these highs, and you take out the previous week's close, and then you retract back down into the range and then close right at last week's open. So a move like this would tell me that very possible we saw the bottom on BTC, right? All I would want to see is just a continued move below our momentum indicator. It's looking pretty good so far, USDT DOM. Keep this on your chart, guys. USDT dominance. If we want to get into specifics, you would want to see a move below 5.28%. Get a move below 5.28% on the daily time frame for USDT DOM. Then it's very likely that the April 7th low on BTC was the absolute. Let's go back to BTC here. And then we'll take a look at the rest of your coins. And we'll see what's up. I really like this recovery. Like, you see how we're just printing dojis here? Doji, doji, doji. And then you have dojis, but it's making higher lows. And then you have this bullish engulfing. That's what I like to see. It shows a lot of strength just by looking at these candlesticks. And if you want to look more so into the strength of the candle or the volume, look at the Fibonacci chart. People underestimate the Fibonacci chart. It works so well, like on cashing huge trends, you know? Like when you get a green candle, you'll likely get multiple green candles after it at least. This looks like a trend shift when we're taking a look at the Ichimoku candlesticks. So yeah. All right, let's take a look. Okay, we gotta take a look here at Gala. Gala looks great. You know why Gala looks great? Because we wicked below this low on October 2023 before we had a 551% push up to supply zone. This is our supply zone right here. And like I was saying, with Dent and Filecoin, there's a concerted effort to keep the price down. You guys see that? So this was just the supply zone. And when you hear that market makers are accumulating, right? They're accumulating here, BlackRock's accumulating this, that, doesn't necessarily mean they're accumulating it and not selling at the pivot points. They're accumulating here. The market maker establishes the range. Remember that. So they're just buying at the demand zone and selling at the supply each time in order to gather up as much funds as possible for the anticipation of going all in over here when max supply reaches the market, because you have so many people panic selling this psychological low. This psychological low right here. You see what I'm saying? So this is what I see on Gala. I think it's just Wyckoff accumulation, and we could actually do the same thing that we did on Filecoin and Dent. So let's just put a box around this just to show this is accumulation. Right here, parallel channel. You want to look for your parallel channel and just place a box like this. And you see how we wick below it right there? Like just by a hair. And then we get bought back up. And remember what I was showing you? Remember I was showing you guys what CRV was doing? How it formed like a little bit of a head and shoulders right here. You have your left shoulder, you have your head. We have a change of character here. So it may come down like this, then you form your right shoulder, and then off we go. Take out high time frames supply or high time frame inefficiency, and then we confirm bullish order flow from there. Same thing as CRV. CRV is front running the market here. Let's take a look here at CRV. You see? Same thing. The reason I say it's front running the market is because we had this incline. The rest of the market hasn't done this incline. So maybe it's a little bit above. Right? Maybe it's either CRV pushes up like this or it comes down for just one little fourth wave before continuing higher. So yeah. Targeting this inefficiency on the daily. Damn, what chart were we just watching? I forgot. Let me just go back. Oh yeah, we were watching Gala. So yeah, this is what I see on Gala, and yeah, like just take a fib from this high down to this low. Take a look at it on the linear scale, and you want to take a look at all of these major fibs over here. Do you guys see this? These are your major fibs. Then what you can do is to find confluence is just take a fib from the very high down to the low, but take a look at it on the log scale and just see if anything lines up. And this is like my bread and butter when I want to find targets when you can't really place waves on the chart. Yeah, you can place waves on this chart, but most people who just do waves, they'll say, yeah, this is bearish as hell. This is going to zero. It's a dead coin. But the Elliott wave guys, the Wyckoff guys, they'll say, nah, this is accumulation. There's no way that after this sweep over here, we're likely going to see lower, because we already went down by over 98%, and we've been accumulating for over 1,000 days, or almost 1,000 days. This is 838. So when you have this sweep of range lows, then it's likely you're gonna have expansion. It just makes sense. It's just the way the market works. 618. Let's see where the 702 is. Right over here. You see the 702, how it perfectly lines up with the 4.236? Like right there. Let's see where the 50 is. And remember, it's not going to only be like, let's say Gala pops off here. It's not going to only be Gala. The rest of the market needs to follow suit as well. And that's still what I see with the rest of the altcoins. Like, everything is still looking bullish. Like I said, the S&P took a shit, but alts didn't really move too much. So yeah, these are the targets on Gala. Let's take a look at another coin here. We'll take a look at SNX. I know one guy in the chat was asking for it. So yeah. Now, what we can do on SNX is we could just take a fib from this low up to this high. Now, it's kind of tough to say what this coin is going to do because it's still trending down, right? And there's no doubt that this is a 5-wave move. Then we have an ABC. And yeah, like I can't look at this chart and say, yeah, it's good, like this is the bottom. Or I can't say that, oh, it's gonna bottom out here, 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 because we're still in a downtrend. So what you'd mainly want to be looking for a coin with this type of market structure is simply just to move back above this horizontal resistance, which was previously acting as support. And it's such an important level. Like, look at this. Look how we used it as resistance back in 2019. And then we pierced through it. And then you had your blow off top. And then we used it in 2022 as support for about 637 days. But it was just a redistribution, Wyckoff redistribution structure. Do you guys see that? Where you have your first leg down, a pause in market structure, and then you have continuation. But what we can also do to find where this may bottom out at in regards to USD value, we're going to take a look at the trend-based fib. So we're going to take it from the start of our trend to the bottom and up to the counter trend. And we're very close to the 786 and we've just hit the 702. So yeah, we may see a pop up here, considering we did hit the 702. But if it does come down to the 786 at 47 cent, don't panic. This is usually where you see reversals. But we can't call it a bottom just yet until we rally back up to this resistance level at $1.53. And then once you get above $1.53, then it's likely we're going to come up to the retracements at least. These would be the retracement levels if this was a bottom. Okay, get above 1290, then it's likely we're going to take out these highs. But yeah, this is synthetics. You can see that back here for almost 2 years it was just redistribution. So will we get a move back up to this level here? If we get a move back up to that level, it's bullish. And then if we get above it, then we can confirm that yeah, it's going to go higher. Mainly look at total 3 here. Total 3 in Bitcoin. That's where you want to look to. For coins that, just taking a look here at Bitcoin on the weekly, it looks very strong. Like, look at this week. Look how this current weekly candle is looking. But more so, look at the candles that came before it. Like, look at this weekly candle. You see how we sweep this whole entire range? We were in this range for 42 days. You see how well we held these lows? And then you sweep the lows like this. And then you have a green and a green. Green, green, and then green. So this could be a 3 white soldiers. No, it's not a 3 white soldiers. I don't know. Let me see. Oh yeah, it is. Let me see. Is this not what BTC is doing, like right now? Like, is that not what BTC is doing? First floor, second floor, third floor. And then 3 white soldiers. Like, bruh. Like, look at this. So yeah, I just want to see a move above the 200. Like I've been saying. At 88, 243. Okay, let's take a look at Hbar. Hbar is looking fine, like I was showing you guys in the last stream. It just came down to this support, which would be the let me see here. Just came down to the 50% fib. When we take a fib from this low on November 4th up to this high, you see how we came down to the 50% on the log scale? You see? See? You can see how well we used this support here as on Hbar. And these are your take profit levels. 55 to 56, 76 to 82, and $1.09 to $1.29 or $1.40. Because remember, this is just a channel over here. This is just a channel. You guys see that? This could be an A, a B, a C, a D, and then you have your E wave, and then continuation, or we come down much deeper. We'll have to see how it plays out. You know what I also noticed here on Hbar? It actually looks like what PulseX is doing on the small time frame. Like, look at PulseX, and that's something you'll notice in the market. Like, sometimes you'll notice coins resemble other assets, but just on different time frames. Like, is this not what PulseX is doing? But just on the 4 hour? See what I'm saying? So what if we have a throw over to around $1.20 to $1.40, and then that's the top, and then you have kind of like a rolling top like this. May not go into like this far, but like a rolling top like that. So yeah, it's possible. So we're going to take a look at UFO gaming for sure. Tie of the market is asking for UFO gaming. You know, UFO gaming was so big back then in the last bull market in 2020, 2021. It went on huge numbers. And, you know, what if there's like, now we hear this UFO narrative coming out, like where people are spotting UFOs. So what if we pop off that narrative? But it's not even that narrative. The last time I saw a UFO token, it looked like Wyckoff accumulation. Let's see. I mean, yeah, you can consider this like a continued weakness structure in Wyckoff accumulation. where you have consecutive lower lows and lower highs. But what I'm seeing here on UFO, you have this falling wedge structure. And like I've said in my previous videos, whenever you have a falling wedge or a rising wedge, whatever it is, you're going to have deviation below it, or in other words, your throw over. So what if this is just a throw over of the C wave, or your third wave to the downside? So this would be your A wave, B wave, and then your C wave. So this would be your A or your 1. This would be your B or 2, right? And then you have your C wave. So now all I would want to see here though is just a move above this level, because we can't definitively say that this is the bottom, right? We would need to see some action going on here, like a move back up to at least this level right here. If we can get a move up to this level and then get above it on the 3-day, daily, or even weekly, then yeah, this is likely takeoff zone. And we're going to take off above these highs. And then we'd come up to these retracements right here. Around the 618, which would take out this internal range, or to maybe even the 702, where you take out this internal range liquidity. And then this would be your A, B, and this could be your A, your B, and then your C wave. And then she has trend continuation down. There is a possibility of that, where this is an ABC. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, we'll see how it plays out. Remember what I said, I want to see a move back up to this level first before we can consider that the bottom is in. Hey Vic, nice to have you here. We did take a look at Filecoin at the beginning of the stream. No need to worry, we'll just take a very quick glance at it. This is Filecoin, okay? Yeah, it's just an ending diagonal. That's all it is. You have a 5-wave move within the 5th wave of your C wave of your macro B. So taking a look at Filecoin on the daily time frame, if we can rally to 324, then yeah, this is likely the bottom. Because we even have a bullish divergence. Let this load up here. You see? You have a lower low from August to April. But then you have a higher low. So this is hidden bullish divergence. And you know what? Back here in December 2024, this is when a lot of people, including I, at one point thought it was like the market was going to blast off. But the market has one more push down below macro range. And this drive down, I would say, is sufficient enough to say that it's the bottom, as long as we can even have an attempt to rally back up to 324. So this looks like deviation below 1,000-day long accumulation range. That's all it is. So in Wyckofian terms or Wyckoff terms, this would be considered your spring. This would be considered your creek. You see how painful this experience was for holders? This experience? This is your spring, which would be confirmed by a move back up to 324. And then same thing as the DXY, I expect. Move up to 17. So the reason I say DXY is because this looks like Wyckoff redistribution, there is a possibility that we're just seeing an ABC correction, where this is your 5-wave move down for your A or your wave 1. This is your ABC up for your B or your wave 2 before you have continuation down. So yeah, that's Filecoin. I probably went on a little bit too long on Filecoin, but at least you're more informed. Let's go back to BTC. BTC is looking really good. Just want to see a move above this 200-day. Yeah, 200-day is not too far. It's about $1,000 away. Let's go on the 10-minute. This is the 10-minute time frame. So if we can get a move above these highs right here, then we'd be looking at these fibs. Looks impulsive, guys. But let's just see. Remember I said this could still be corrective. And we still have liquidity under this range low. So we'll see. Does it keep going higher above the 200-day? And does it maintain posture above 86,255? Or will it come down to take this? Will we come down and flush and take out this liquidity and then pop off from there? We'll see how it plays out. Okay, so I did UFO, I did Filecoin, we took a look at Hbar, we took a look at synthetics, but we didn't look at DGB yet. So AMP as well. I know someone is asking for cake. Now, in every live stream we do, we take a look at cake, QNT, and PulseX. I noticed that. But yeah, cake is looking fine. Let me go back to the chart I made here. Just put this on a black chart. And remember what I was saying in the last live? How we've used this zone as supply so many times. But it looks like there's a concerted effort to keep the price down. You see, this is all market makers are doing. They're accumulating at the pivots, selling at the supply. Accumulating, selling, accumulating, and then finally, when they decide it's the low, which can be marked by a move back down to extremes. As you guys can see, we came down to the 786, so that's an extreme. We actually wicked below it. I think we see a move back up to supply here at 280 to 292, which would be confirmed by a move above 256 at the 786. Okay? So yeah, this is cake. Very, very simple. 1,000 days of accumulation. If we get above the supply at 288, then we're looking for a macro expansion above these highs. Looking at around 668 to 1037. I think we hit 668, backtest this very quickly, and then come up to 10 to 14, and then we have a huge flush back down to 439, and even possibly even lower. We'll see. We'll see. Because the thing about cake is you have to look at the market cap chart. But what is the market cap chart telling us? Well, where's the 786 at? It's right there at 3.65 billion. 3.65 billion translated to US dollars would be $12. Or it'd be around 11.80, $12, somewhere around there. And you can see that the 618 on the USD pair is $11-12. You see? or the 23.6, depending on what you look at. But yeah, super bullish on cake. Super bullish. Give it time though. It's still within the range. You need patience. You gotta let it brew, or you gotta let it marinate. Whenever you get into a position, don't expect to be in profit right away. Right? That's why I always preach DCA, always DCA. Vilnius is asking for FET. I'm so bullish on FET. I believe we took a look at it in the previous two streams. Nothing wrong with the VET. Let's see what chart I put it on. We called the bottom perfectly on FET. In my Discord. We called the bottom perfectly. Let me just see if I'm on the right chart here. Okay. Whoa, the S&P is yeah, it's reaching for the lows. Okay, FET. Let me see here. Like, are you guys seeing this deviation on crypto and the stock market? I don't think we've ever seen something like this. Let's see. Okay, it's not here. Is it in here? Is this where I kept FET? Okay, I can't find it, but we'll just make the chart from scratch. This is what I'm seeing on FET. See how it came down to extremes relative to the low on June 2023 before we went up by over 2,000%. This just looks like a diagonal. That's all it is, because we've just been doing ABCs up and down in a diagonal formation. Do you guys see that? And this I just want to see, is there more history to this coin? That's all I want to make sure before we just dive into this on TradingView. Let's go to CoinTrader Pro. Whenever you want to see the full history of a coin, check out CoinTrader Pro and just see if there's more history to it. I actually think I did fetch on here, yeah. Or yeah, I just came down a little bit more. But yeah, that is the full history of the coin. So yeah, I'm looking at something like this. Okay. I think it makes a good comeback. I mean, we have a lot of demand here. We're actually, like, look at the daily. The daily, we have a V-shaped recovery here. We're above. I also wanted to show you guys this indicator. Go on your TradingView and type this in, Keltner channels with signals. It's such a good indicator for tracking momentum, and you can see that we haven't had this signal where we're having consecutive daily closures above the Keltner channel since November 2024. And then we're also above our momentum indicator moving average. You see that? What you can also do is check it out on the 4-hour. And this is clearly an impulsive move to the upside. Is FET giving us the signal that the altcoin bottom is in? Because this is looking impulsive as hell right now. But yeah, taking a look at FET, exit targets, just take a fib from the high to the low. Very simple, right? But make sure to take a look at it on the linear scale. I'll show you guys. Boom. Okay, there you go. Always add the 2.702, 2.786 on the chart. So yeah, I'm looking at around 928, over a 10x. And it's not surprising, really. I mean, AI, great narrative, and then every single run on FET, we did numbers. And you know, if the law of diminishing returns says over time your gains diminish, and that's exactly what we're seeing in this Elliott wave count. 97x, or yeah, 97x on wave 1, 59x on wave 3, and 22x on wave 5. Worst case scenario, 14x on wave 5. Okay, so that's FET. Looks pretty good. So on total 3, you have a wave 4 going the lower than 0.61. So I'll show you here total 3 again. So this is the full wave count that I have on total 3. If you look here, now which wave 4 are you talking? You're talking this wave 4, I'm guessing, right? This wave 4, it can come down all the way to the 786, but as soon as you go below this low, then it's invalidated. Like if you go below the 786 here at 660 billion, the count is invalidated and it's likely an impulsive move to the downside. You see, but so far, the count is telling us that this is corrective because you have an ABC here in your A wave, an ABC up in your B wave, and then a 5 wave move down. Something that's also giving us a little bit more of a signal that this could be a bottom is that we have an ending diagonal in which the waves overlap each other. So now all I would want to see here going forward on total 3 is just for these lows to hold. Because as soon as you come down below the 786, which would be at around 686 billion, then yeah, it's likely it's going to continue down. But so far, this is bullish order flow. Looking here on the hourly, right? So let's see if this can continue. Let's go back to BTC here. Very important to watch. Let's go, BTC. Let's go. Like, look at that. Like, I like this push right here. All right, BTC is at 87,700. It's looking good. It's looking like there's a lot of momentum here. Now, this is an inside bar. I just want to see it take out these highs on the 4-hour. We're reaching to it, so yeah, it's likely we're gonna take it out. We're gonna take out 88,475. That's what I'm looking at now. Let's put the 200-day moving average on our chart. We can't forget that because that's one of the criteria in order to determine that the bottom is in. Yeah, so we're gonna reach towards the 200 at 88,226. Likely wick above it to 88,507. Don't forget you have a lot of people longing here. So let's just see, let's just track this range. It's going to be a very volatile morning. Yeah, it's going to be very volatile. It's going to be a very important week of price action this week, especially in the stock market, right? All right, DGB. You know, DGB looks great here on the hourly. This actually looks like it's gonna do this. That's what it looks like. You see how we've just been making higher lows here since February 1st? This is usually what you see in the market, like when we're at the bottom. And you see how congested the price is here? It's so congested. So if we can reach back to 0.01, yeah, 0.0106, then yeah, it's likely we're gonna have this nice push up here above these highs, above this high here. Into this zone. Now, worst case scenario, let's say Bitcoin nukes like right here and just comes down for a deep retracement. Not too deep, but sufficient enough to shake the markets a bit. DGB can do this and then go back. It can come down and flush out all of this liquidity and then resume with its uptrend. Because this would be considered your trendline liquidity, where you have traders placing their stop underneath it. But you could also say that this is ascending accumulation, because what I've seen in the market is you see something like this, where you creak upwards, right? And then you see something like that. And then you finally get that push, right? This is, go on Google Images, type in institutional price action cheat sheet, and it's gonna open up your mind, and it's gonna introduce you into the world of how these market structures look and how manipulated the markets are. Our goal as analysts and as traders is to spot the manipulation, spot how these algos are being placed on the chart, so we can take advantage of that and we don't get shaken out of our positions. So if we flush, it would still be bullish. If we go up, even better. I'm betting on we come back up, we come up to these levels here instead of us flushing down. But we would need to first see Bitcoin pick up some steam, right? Let's go to a chart here that I made on DGB. It was a white chart here. You guys can check out this whole analysis. Okay, do you see DGB, guys? Like, that's so bullish. This is what I expect. You have your A, B, and then your C. And then, like many of the coins that I've been showing in this stream, we have over 1,000 days of accumulation. That's why I'm very confident in a move higher on DGB, because we have this accumulation. This is what I expect. And then we also have equal high buy side liquidity. You see these equal highs over here? Think about how much liquidity is above these highs. This is called our equal high buy side. So yeah, this is what I expect on DGB. I think we see a move to 0.083, which would be about, let me see here, be about a 7 to 8x. Now, we're noticing a trend here, right? What is the trend telling us? The trend is showing, or the projected trend, you could say. The projected trend is showing us that all of the strong old coins are waking up. How do you determine strength within the market? Underlying strength. Like I said, you would look for two things. Number one, price-based capitulation. Went down by 96.94% from the 2021 highs down to these lows, 2024. And then you look for time-based capitulation. We've been going sideways for 1,000 days. So what is the price telling us here, right? How are we able to catch that crazy XRP move, right from the lows? Because every single day I was reminding you guys that we're in accumulation because we've been going sideways. Now it's actually such a blessing because we have these coins that haven't popped off yet. You know, we get such great DCA opportunities. Only the ISO coins popped off. The rest of the market didn't. So I think that ISO coins may go in for its fifth wave. A very explosive one at that. A very explosive one. Doesn't mean it's going to be less explosive. It's still going to be explosive, while the rest of the coins, such as ERC20s, they go in for like their third wave or their first, or they go in for their expansion to the upside out of their range. Unlike the ISO coins, where they're just going to have continuation instead. You see what I'm saying? Oh, damn. I think I'm on subscribers only mode. Wait, let me just see. Oh, okay, never mind. Everything is fine. Okay, let's take a look at STX. Someone said in the chat, Evil Lunk is saying in the chat, STX is moving up today. Is it? Let's check it out. STX. You know what? This looks exactly like Fetch. Like, look at Fetch. Is this an AI coin? Just wondering. Is this not Fetch? Hold on. I'll show you guys. Is this not Fetch right here? Like, that's the exact same thing, man. Like, literally. Spitting image. Like, bruh. So if I think that if this coin is going to go up, it's going to likely do the same thing, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, and then your fifth wave. Taking out these highs ever so slightly. Danger zone, so you'd want to look to ladder out when you get above 369. That's when you want to look to ladder out. Because anything above these highs back in March 2024, it would be considered a fifth wave. So we can do the same thing, right? We can just take a simple fib from this high down to this low, just so we can find the exit targets, right? These would be all your exit targets here. We'd be looking at around 469, I would say, to about $9-10 around there. So like you would ladder out heavily as price approaches these levels. And you can even consider this like inverted head and shoulders, right? You already have your left shoulder, your head, and then your right shoulder. And look where your right shoulder comes down to. It comes down 78.6% of the way down, relevant to our August 2023 low before we went up by over 7x. It actually came down to the 886, so even better, right? The lower she goes, the lower it goes, especially to the 886, then it's likely you're going to see a nice bounce. Kind of looks like a bullish harmonic pattern in a way, but we'll get into that in another video. Yeah, looks good, looks good. Oh, FX, the crypto coin. Let me see. So above all is saying, would it be possible for ATOM update? Okay. Yeah, we'll take a look at ATOM. VIXC is asking for Ondo. Bitcoin is pumping. Let's go back to BTC. Let's see. Is it pumping? Yes, it is. It is pumping. Damn, BTC looks good. Like, yo. Like, look at this. Is it above the 200? Oh, we're testing it. We're testing the 200 right now. Okay. Let's see. Let me just send this to my Discord members just in case they're not in here. Just copy this image here. All right, moment of truth. Let's see. Hey, you know what I've also noticed over the past year, maybe year and a half, we've always pumped on or just after holidays. I noticed that. All right, well, we're above the 200 now on the 4 hour. Let's go. This is what we would be targeting next. 90,245. And remember what I said. We need to see two things. A move above the trend line, which we got, and a daily close above the 200. We're currently now above the 200 and above the trend line. So now this daily closes in about 9 hours and 29 minutes. Will be very interesting to see how this plays out. Okay. Pip, could you increase the seats for your premium members? It's sold out. Yes, I will let my admin know. I'll let my admin know after this stream. So after this stream, like, just check it, and then there will be a seat open, so I can let she can let you in for sure. Let's take a look at Ondo. VIXC is asking for Ondo. Let's see here. XCN, Ryan is asking for XCN. Haskala is asking for ETH. We took a look at ETH. at the beginning, and we got liquidity above 1683, and we're at extremes. We're at the 786. This bottom would be confirmed by a move above 1786. But yeah, head and shoulders. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder. Get above 1786, then we can confirm a move back up to the 200. So let's just see how this level holds. What crypto was I gonna look at? That's funny. Go to the gym bro is saying yes, Ondo for a Deegan move. You know, I like Ondo. I like the structure of Ondo. Or no, I saw that the Trump team was buying Ondo. I saw something like that where they were like partnering up with the Ondo Foundation or whatever. So yeah, let's check out Ondo here. Ondo is looking fine. Let's see where it came down relative to our July lows. And look where it came down to, right at the 786. So that this could be the low on Ondo. I mean, if Bitcoin continues to push up here, and we kind of got that same thing that CRV's got going on, right? Where we have your left shoulder, your head, your change of character, partial decline for your right shoulder. And then a move back up to these highs here at 95 cent would likely confirm a market structure shift. Like we would be changing into bullish order flow, right? We can do something very simple on Ondo. Just place a trend line like this. Very simple, right? Just place a trend line like that. I've actually seen this structure on Bitcoin before, like years back. I remember it because I remember trading it. Let's go to BTC. I've seen this structure somewhere. I know I have. I know I've seen this somewhere. I think it was like right here. Oh yeah, this was it. I remember this so vividly. Let me see. Is it something like this? Because you know, the consensus would be that a rising channel is bearish, and you'll see it's like kind of like a bear flag. But that's not always the case. It could be ascending accumulation. And the fact that we came down to this 786 here at 69 cent, and then we're forming a little bit of a head and shoulders pattern, inverted head and shoulders. I think this has the potential to move back up to these highs, which would be about 147%, like 95% likely. Not financial advice. What we can actually do is just take a fib from this high down to this low and look at the 1.618. It's about 3.7x. Let me see here. 1.786 is about 4.6x. Let me see here. This actually went, if we take a look at BTC, went up to the 2.618. So where's the 2.618 here? It's at $12. So that's a 10x. This is where the Trump team bought. They bought like right here. Right here. Or maybe they're buying now, I don't know. But this is when the news came out. Like right at these lows. That they were partnering up. So yeah, we could just see a push like that. And then that's all she wrote. So yeah, that's what I see on Ondo. I think it's just ascending accumulation. As long as this 786 holds at 69 cent, and then we can get a move back up to this supply zone at 91 to 95. Okay, so if we can just get a move back up to these highs, we'd be looking good. And then we have a little bit of high time frame demand here as well. So I don't see a reason why we wouldn't get up there. So Ian McDonald is asking for FX. You will really okay. Okay, theta? Yeah, we'll do theta, no problem. Okay, ZBCN. I know I said I was going to take a look at that last live stream, but I didn't. So we'll make sure to get to that in this live. D is asking for ZBCN. XCN is likely within the fifth wave to the upside. All right, let's take a look here. Let's take a look at FX. Is it function? Is this what it's called? Function? Is this FX? Doesn't look bad. Doesn't look bad. I mean, we're above the 200 day. Like what? That's crazy. Like, look at this. All right, let's just pull this up on a different chart here. Just for a chart that can, if it doesn't have liquidity, then we'll see. Yeah, okay, we'll go on this chart. So Ian, is this the chart, function X? I'm assuming it is because it's called FX. But yeah, this is what it is. We've made our way back above this range. It's above the 200 day. The 4 hour looks okay. Low liquidity coin. But if it's impulsive, and as long as it stays above that 200 day moving average sitting at 0.127, then it's likely gonna have a fifth wave right now like this. Very, very, very volatile coin. Okay, probably gonna see something like that as long as Bitcoin keeps moving up. Yeah, it doesn't look bad here on the hourly. Yeah, this is what I see. The reason the wave 5 is so extended and all of the other waves are very small is because this is what you see with low liquidity coins. You have an extension of the fifth wave because there's so much FOMO and hype and over leverage in the system. And then the wave, yeah. We also have a little bit of alternation going on here on FX, where we have a little bit of an extended wave 2, very complex, and a very simple wave 4, if this is a wave 4. So that just shows us more that it's likely we're going to go in for this fifth wave. That would be a crazy gain, but I don't think there's much liquidity in this coin. That would be about 282%. Still pretty good. And where would that take us though? Right, relative to the 2021 high. Yeah, I think this coin may have just bottomed here, and then we're coming up for a relief rally above this range. There is a very big possibility it bottomed. And you see, the 702 is right at 64 cent. And where did we put that 100%? And where do we see that where the 1.236 is when we use our trend-based fib? Right at that same level, right? So it's very likely that we're going to see a lot of resistance come in here at 63.64 cents. So this is where I would be expecting function X to go next, as long as we can stay above this 200-day. Thank you so much, Real Ice Bear. Let me see here. Okay, so Vic C is saying, I got trapped into X influencers going on and on about XRP. I bought so much of it at every dip, and I haven't booked profits. That's fine. You'll be okay, because I still expect a wave 5 on XRP to take us above the all-time high. I'm not sure if you've seen my wave 5 targets, Vic, on XRP, but you should be okay. Remember, XRP still above the 200. Still above the 200-day. Let's take a look at it on the weekly here. Still above the 2021 highs. Last week was a doji, which I said if we formed, we would likely see continuation this week. Now the week has started. So yeah, I think we're going to see a push up. As long as Bitcoin plays nice. So far it is, considering it's testing the 200. But this would be the wave 5 targets right here, okay? These are the wave 5 targets. All right, there you go. Boom. And then what you can also do is just take a fib from the high here down to this low. Just a regular fib on the linear scale, just so you can get some more confluence, right? You can also take a look at some higher values as well, like the 4.618 and 5.618. But that's as far as I would take it in regards to the regular fibs. Okay, the 1.786 we can't forget. And yeah, that's it. Boom. Those are your wave 5 targets. I do see 11 bucks getting hit for sure. $9 to $9.70, $7.50 to $7.90. And for sure you want to be taking profits here at $6.25, not financial advice. It's going to come here. It's going to come here to $6.25. But make sure to TP. I'm showing you guys 11 and 14 bucks, right? But the last thing I want you guys to do is wait till we get there to TP, right? Sell into the advances. That's the best advice I can give. And yeah, it would just be a wave 5. Wave 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you have your 5th wave, right? I think it goes to 14. That's my bias, because when you take a look at the last consolidation in 2017, before we had this last push up, let's just say that this is the last push up, considering it looks like we only see 4 waves on the chart. You can see that the push up took us above the 4.236 by about 160%. So you may have that deviation as well. This was 160% deviation above 4.236, and this may just be a 60% deviation. So about, yeah, that's what I see for XRP. So don't worry, Vic. I know you FOMO'd in, but it ain't looking it ain't looking bearish. It's looking pretty bullish so far. You know, we never had a move below the 200 yet, or a close below it. We wicked below it, but then we closed back above it, and we're still on the 2021 highs that we used as resistance. Like, look at this supply back in 2021. You see how many times price tried to push up, but it just got rejected back down each time? Like 5 times here. So it'll be easy in determining when the top is in. Like, we're gonna get very similar topping signatures, and yeah, we're on it now. We're using it as support here. When have we used the 2021 resistance as support? 4 years later, in 2025. You see what I'm saying? It's looking good. Mohammed is asking, can you please look at Phil again? Bro, I took a look at it like 2 times, but no need to worry. Phil, it looks good. I think it's bottomed. Ernest is asking for Jasmine. We'll take a look. So Real Ice Bear is saying, Pip, what happens to a coin's price action as it becomes more and more institutionalized, as in the case of XRP? Well, for one, you must know that when there's more adoption, there'll be less gains to be seen. However, considering crypto as a whole, like as an industry, it's only been around for it's been around since 2010, right? So 15 years. But XRP, like, I think there is going to be a use case. Like, I don't think that the use case will reflect in the price this cycle, right? But what I do think is that the price of XRP, the utility will reflect in the price in the next cycle. That's what I think. When XRP goes to 13, 14 bucks this cycle, and then everything comes tumbling down by over 85, 93%, and the stock market continues its decline into a recession, which is no doubt going to happen, there's going to likely be a great reset. And this is the narrative that we keep hearing, great reset. Like, they're going to reset the whole economy. Once that occurs, I think the institutional use case will start to reflect in the price. And then you'll see something crazy. Like, we'll see how it plays out. Let's see. Okay, so Mari is asking for gold. Vox Games is asking for XCN. Alex, I took a look at Tau. Is super bullish, Alex. Tau is bullish. That's for sure. Sultan is asking for PulseX. We took a look at PulseX at the beginning of the stream. Just go on like 2x speed and you can get it. You know what I would actually recommend, guys? If I'm doing a coin that you guys are asking for, just do a quick comment on the live comments, the timestamp, so you can help others like get to it. All right, so what coin do we look at next? Where are you guys from? Where's everyone from here? I'm still in Asia. Where are all my subscribers from? I know there's a lot of Europe, people from Europe here. Daz is from Morocco. Sick, nice. Real Ice Bears from Maine. Cody's from Dallas. Okay, lots of people from the US here. Germany, UK, India. Sick. Awesome. Switzerland. That's great. Denmark, Houston, California. Let's go. All right, Greece. Nice. That's great. All right. That's amazing. So we have a lot of people from around the world. A lot of people here from the US. Let's go take a look at XCN over here. Now, I actually did an XCN chart for my members. Look at how violent that move up was from the 200 day. Like, look at this move. That's crazy. Okay, I made a chart here on XCN. Let me just find it. And then no worries, we'll take a look at all of the other coins that I missed. So no worries. Yeah, this is XCN. I mean, it may come down a bit. It may come down right now. Just a little bit. Like, just to fill this inefficiency right here. Worst case scenario, we come down to fill this inefficiency. But it looks good. This could be the start of our fifth wave, right? You see? We have your 5 waves up. I see if this really is the fifth wave and we start reaching for the highs here at 0.026, if we start reaching again for these highs at 0.026, then it's very likely we're in the fifth wave. We'd be taking a look at 14 cent, 14, 15 cent. The reason I say that is because when we take a fib from the all-time high down to the all-time low, we see that the 786 is right there at 15 cent. And then when we use a trend-based fib to find our fifth wave, the 702 is right there at 14, 15 cent. Moreover, when we take a fib from this high down to this low, so from January to April, look where the 2.618 and 3.618 is. 11, 12 to 15 cent, you see? So it's just within this pocket you'd want to look to start laddering out. Not financial advice. The first thing we would need to see on XCN going forward is just a push back up to these highs. We want to see the price, we want to see bulls make an attempt to see this push. Once you get this push back to around 0.0248, then yeah, it's very, very likely we're within the fifth wave. And that we can rule out the possibility that this is a B wave and then we come down for a C wave. That would be pretty brutal. You have to really think where the rest of the market would be in the case where we do something like this. Always think like that, right? So like when you're looking at one coin and you see like the scenario of it nuking, you also have to think, okay, where would the rest of the market be? Always think like that. So yeah, XCN, 12, 13, 14, 15 cent. Once it gets to around this area, you look to scale out. Not financial advice. Okay. All right. So we took a look at Gala. We did a very comprehensive analysis on Gala. So just rewind the video, maybe play it back. You'll find it. Okay. Vilnius is... Okay, we're going to take a look at ZBCN. This guy in the chat has been asking for it for some time now. I didn't take a look at it, but we're going to take a look at it now. Does this coin have more history? Let's see on CoinTrader Pro. And then we're going to, after after we take a look at this coin, we're gonna pop back to Bitcoin and see what's going on. But yeah, ZBCN, it looks like accumulation, but it's a little hard to tell, right? What if this was distribution? This was your A, your B, and then your C wave. And then you come down like this. So yeah, we could classify this as accumulation, but in order for us to see expansion like this, we need to see more signs of life. Number one being us holding this structural support here at let me see here, 3097. We're holding it well so far, but yeah, not so sure on this coin, like what exactly it's doing. But yeah, it's still within the range. It's still within its range. We would just want to see this structural support hold and then start reaching for these highs here at 0.001. Let's take a look at some more of your coins here, guys. Vox Games says looks scary. What looks scary, bro? Which coin? Okay. Muhammad is saying, when will Pip do a face reveal? I'm dead. Well, I'll do a face reveal when XRP hits $13. Or no, when it hits $10. Maybe even 680. All right, let's do KDA. You know, I'm super bullish on KDA because it's doing the exact same thing as most of the coins that I showed you. Like I said, you have this 1,000-day long accumulation range. We'll actually pull it up here so you guys can see better. All right, so S&P, looking here on the daily, it doesn't look too hot right now. It's reaching for these lows. All right, let's take a look at KDA. Let's see here. But before we take a look at KDA, I just want to touch on this S&P for a second. Like I was saying in the previous streams, this is a piercing line reversal candlestick pattern, right? But it would only, and now we're just seeing consolidation. But we can only invalidate this bullish scenario where this is a piercing line reversal if we go below the March 31st, the week of March 31st close. So that would be sitting at 50.73. We don't want to see a move below 50.73 on the S&P. But let's see how the crypto market acts, because altcoins have they're kind of decoupling. Like that's what it looks like. Something very unique and interesting market dynamics that we haven't seen before, you know. What coin was I just about to pull up? Oh, KDA. Let's take a look here. I don't think I made it on this chart. We'll check here. Okay, yeah, this is where I made it. So we'll just switch this to the black chart. And yeah, this is KDA. This is what I expect. I think this is Wyckoff accumulation. We've been within this range for about 1,000 days, or over 1,000 days. We have time-based capitulation, and then we also have price-based capitulation as well, going down by almost 99%. This move here below this low was our spring. So as long as we can hold above these two lines at 0.4074 and 0.36221, then we should be good. Let me remove these drawings here. Okay, now you can see better. Don't be surprised if KDA flushes down like this. Don't be surprised. Because then we would just be retesting the spring. So you know, after the spring, there's always a retest. Not always, but most of the time. Look at Wyckoff. Okay. You can see after the test, or sorry, after the spring, okay, I can't open it, but yeah, this is what it is. Okay, this is your spring. So let's just see here. Yeah, this is what I see on KDA. And these are the exit targets right here. Okay, so it's 11:02 p.m. New York time. We took a look at a lot of coins today. We took a look at the S&P. Before we wrap up this stream, I just want to take a look at Bitcoin one more time, see what's going on here, and it's looking pretty good. I mean, we're testing the 200-day moving average, and we're above this trendline resistance here. So it's just waiting for this 200-day moving average to load on the chart. But yeah, you see how we're testing it right here? We'll see how it plays out. All right, guys. We're going to take a look at all of your coins in the next stream. Don't worry if I didn't get to your coin. We'll take a look at it in the next stream for sure. If you want more of a personalized experience, just join the Discord. Click the link in the description below. You get access to over 300 charts, a community. Very great place to be, and you can interact with me one-on-one. So we actually sold out. I closed off all of the tiers because there's too many people so far, but I'll start. Some people were asking me to open some seats up, so I'll go ahead and do that after I end this stream. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the live stream today. We're going to take a look. We're going to do another stream tomorrow. Very interesting price action. I want to see what happens for the rest of the day. Considering we're above this trendline resistance and we're testing the 200-day. Hope you guys enjoyed the live. Peace out and take it easy. I'll see you guys in the next one.